All right, here we are, episode 22 of Gear Talk. Gear Talk is the show that I do every other week from the Back to Blading headquarters, and I talk about gear, skates, wheels, bearings, frames, pads, you name it. This week, first of all, if you're joining on the video, this week you get to see the new wall of skates. So if you haven't watched on YouTube before, I actually do this live every other Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I do it in front of a wall of skates. So I've taken a corner of my garage and I've put up some pegboard and I've hung up all of the old vintage skates that I have so that I can take them off the wall and share them with people if they have questions, or if I'm trying to explain a concept, I can find a skate that has something to do with a frame that matured and evolved from, the TRS to the Fifth Element to whatever. So it's great to have all of these skates available to me. Last weekend, I ripped down all of my skates. I added an additional row of skates. So now I have 4 rows of skates. There's actually a row of skates that you can't see on the live stream. So I have 4 rows of skates that I can grab and talk about, which feels great. Thank you all. So a lot of these skates were actually donations. So people have been sending me skates because they watch the show and they say, hey, I have a pair of Fifth Elements that doesn't look like you have. Do you want them? They're just sitting around collecting dust. And I always say, absolutely, send them my way. So I have so many skates now, it's ridiculous. But it's all thanks to you. So thank you very much. It's great that I'm able to put the skates that are donated on the wall and I can share them with the rest of the community. So segue from the old skates to old skaters. The topic that I wanted to discuss this week was how people get back into blading. We are coming up on summer. It is April 24th, I think, today. And, it's starting to get warm outside. People are starting to want to, do activities outside. And skating is obviously one of the best activities to do in the summer. And a lot of people ask me on Instagram or Facebook or through the YouTube channel, how do I get back into blading? I got back into it maybe 2.5 years ago, and there wasn't a lot of resources out there, to be completely honest. I was very fortunate to have a lot of contacts within the sport still. My friend Cameron Card was part of a Facebook group called Blader Dads, and he invited me to that. And, I met, my friend Ben through Blader Dads. I met a few other great people, and they recommended a local shop called Oak City Skate Shop for me to go and get some skates fitted and, pick up a pair so that I could get back into it. That is not the norm. Most people probably don't have a local shop, let alone they don't have somebody who owns a Facebook group devoted to Blader Dads that they're going to get invited to. So how do you get back into blading? And what are the things that you need to think about when you get back into blading? You're probably in your mid-30s now. You probably skated back in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. You were 18 then, and now you're much older. What sort of things do you need to think about? So I actually get this question probably every other day now, which is, a pure testament to how well the channel has been spreading, not only through Instagram, but through Facebook and on YouTube, that people are finding back to blading and they're seeing the videos and they're saying, you know what, I want to get back into blading. I'm inspired to skate again. I thought that I was too old, but this old guy's doing it. So if he can do it, I can do it too. And I absolutely love answering questions. I love getting your comments and your emails and your messages asking what's the best way to get back into blading. But I wanted to put together a really quick video, so I'm going to cut this one out and put it online. But I want to put together a really quick video that kind of covers everything that I talk about on my emails. because I repeat myself a lot, and I don't repeat myself for people, but I don't want to have to say the same thing over and over and over again. I'm going to try to put together a resource. So you want to get back into blading. Well, the first thing you need to do is realize that you're older than you were before. You know, the time that you started skating, you were probably in high school or, earlier. I know I was in high school when I started doing aggressive skating. I was probably in middle school when I started skating. And back then, we didn't have a care in the world. The biggest thing that you had to worry about was getting to fourth period at school, right? Now you've got, potentially a wife and kids. You've probably got a job. You've got to protect yourself. You got to make sure that you're not doing things that can get in the way of you making a living. Aggressive skating is hard. And even just rollerblading is hard. You're going to fall down a lot. And if you fall down and you hurt yourself and you can't go to work, or if you fall down and you don't have insurance, you're not on your parents' insurance anymore, it can get really expensive. So the first thing that I always do is make sure that I level set people on what they want to get out of rollerblading. If you want to just go out and have fun skating, more power to you. If you want to get into aggressive, do grinds again, if you want to skate fast, if you want to skate distance, more power to you. Make sure that you understand that there are different things out there and each discipline has its own risks. If you're doing aggressive skating, which is probably, if you found this channel, you're probably doing, aggressive skating definitely hurts more when you're older. You fall down a lot when you're doing aggressive, and it's just the nature of the thing. You do a grind and you get down low and you slip out and you fall down. It hurts more getting back up now. You got to realize that. So a couple ways that I always like to prep people for that is, first of all, make sure you get some good pads. It's crazy that back in the days, we never skated with pads. I think I skated with knee pads. And maybe I got a shin guard when we started doing handrails. But that's really about it. I think we had a wrist guard between all of us. Like maybe we shared a wrist guard. But, we only wore helmets when we went to a skate park, and that was because they made us. Now, I wear a helmet every time I go skating. I have this helmet. So this is the 888. I think it's just the 888 helmet, but it's with a technology called MIPS. MIPS is for multiple impact positioning system, maybe. It's basically to keep people from getting concussions. So the inside of this helmet has this little yellow thing that slides around. And the purpose of that is if you just wear a helmet, wearing a helmet is great. Any helmet you can get is great. If you were just wearing a helmet and you fall and you hit your head, you're much better off than if you weren't wearing a helmet. They say that this helmet is one of the best to avoid concussions and getting serious brain damage. It's only probably $20 more than a normal helmet. I think I paid $60 for this, maybe $70. But for me, protecting my head is super important. Without a doubt, the most important piece of protective gear that you're going to get is a helmet. And I think that spending a little bit of extra money on a good helmet that fits you really well and that's going to protect you really well is worth the investment. I get this 888 MIPS helmet. You can get a variety of helmets on the market. Honestly, any helmet that you get is better than no helmet. I think a lot of people skate with helmets now. A lot of people don't, and that's totally fine. But if you're going out skating, make sure that you wear a helmet. And that doesn't matter if you're doing aggressive, if you're doing freestyle, if you're doing urban, if you're just skating down the beach, wear a helmet. It's just safer, it's smart, and you've got a lot more riding on yourself now. You probably have a job. If you can't work because you're in the hospital because of a concussion, that could really impact your life. So, helmet, most important thing. After you get your helmet, you can go down the route of getting other pads. You can get yourself some wrist guards. You can get yourself some knee pads. I don't skate with elbow pads. I probably should. I've been falling a lot on my elbows, but I don't skate with elbow pads. I have these really nice knee pads that are kind of like a knee shin pad. They're made by a company named G-Form. I don't have them in front of me, but they're really nice for doing aggressive skating and any urban skating, because if you slide a little bit and you fall down, it just takes the impact off, It fits slim enough that it's under my jeans, so I don't have to worry about these big bulky, like boneless or what was they called? Pro design pads. Like back in the days when you were, Chris Edwards doing vert. They fit under your pants. They're really nice. G-form knee shin guards, that's what they're called. And then wrist guards, I wear the Ennui City Brace. There's a variety of good wrist guards out there. Again, so long as you just have any wrist guards, it's better than no wrist guards. I started wearing a wrist guard after I fell, and I braced myself, and I bruised up my wrist so bad that I couldn't type. And if I can't type, I can't work. And if I can't work, I can't support my family. So wrist guards are super important to me. Being able to do my job is super important to me. At a minimum, wear a helmet. The most that I ever wear is usually a knee pads and a wrist guard combination. You do you. Just make sure that you manage your risk properly. If you're going to be doing something that you haven't done in a long time, make sure that you're prepared for it. So after you've got your pads, what skates should you get, right? That is the biggest question that I get. And unfortunately, there's way too much to cover with skates for one episode of this. I've done a ton of different email conversations with people trying to walk through what they liked in the past, what their foot is like. There's so many questions to ask. In a nutshell, though, it depends on how much you want to spend. So if you don't want to spend a ton of money and you still have your old skates, the best thing that you can do is get your skates out of the closet. If you had some Solomons or something like that in the past, replace that shock absorber in the back. You can find those online pretty easily at Roller Warehouse or Inline Warehouse or Intuition or Oak City or some other skate shop. You could just do a Google search for inline skate shock absorber, and you'll be able to find those. But if you had Solomons, they're probably still in pretty good shape. Any other skate, you're probably going to want to get a new pair of skates. And the reason is that the plastic that they used back in the days was great, but it has been 15 or so years, and plastic doesn't stick around that long. I have this pair of Rollerblade TRS. These are the original TRS that I had. And you can see this cuff has just completely disintegrated. I have parts of the cuff inside, I think. No, it's in the other skate. I have parts of this cuff. Ugh. So here's the other half of this cuff. This didn't have any skating. We've never skated this skate. This skate was just putting the buckle on and it disintegrated. So imagine how bad a cuff or a boot can be if you're going to put some pressure on it, if you're going to skate it. I would highly recommend, if you don't have a pair of Solomons, get yourself a new pair of skates. They're pretty cheap nowadays. You can get a fairly good pair of skates for, less than $200. You can get a great pair of skates. You can get a fairly good pair of skates for around $100 used, $150 new. It's worth the investment. If you are set on using your old skates, totally fine. Understand that it's probably going to break within a few sessions. Most important upgrade is getting new wheels and new bearings. The bearings that you had back in the days are probably ABEC 3 Killer Bees or something crazy like that. Those are probably not holding up super well. Same with the wheels. The wheels probably weren't super good back in the days. Wheel technology has come a really long way, as has bearing technology, and the prices have gotten really competitive. You can get a full set of wheels for like $30 anti-rocker, $60 flat if you wanted, probably even cheaper, but around $30 to $40 for a set of 4. That's probably where you want to be with wheels. Bearings, same thing. You can get a set of 8 bearings, which is good for 4 wheels, for like $20, probably even less if you wanted to. I wouldn't spend a ton. I would probably budget around $100 for wheels and bearings if you could. You can get away with spending a little less though. The better the wheels, the better experience you're going to have. And the most important thing right now is if you're getting back into it, you want to make sure that you have a really good first experience. Because if your first experience is, the bearings don't roll and the wheels are flat and you're just kind of walking up to a grind, that's going to be horrible and you're not going to have fun. You're getting back into rollerblading because you want to have fun. So make sure that you spend a little bit of money, get yourself some new wheels, get yourself some new bearings, save up if you have to, but it's worth investing $100 or so in a brand new set of wheels and bearings you will love it, and your skates will thank you for it. All right, so that's the minimum. If you wanted to get back into it, you're going to get some pads, you're going to get some new wheels and bearings. Doesn't matter if you're doing recreational or aggressive, new wheels and bearings are the minimum that you want to buy. Now, what about skates? Maybe you've saved up, you've got $200, and you want to spend $200 on a new pair of skates. Well, there's a lot to choose from, and I think that it really depends on what you have in mind for skating. If you were a free skater back in the days, which is kind of what, most people started as. You just skated up and down the street. You just love to skate. The feeling of skating, just like ice skating, there's a reason why people go to the ice rink all the time. It's fun to skate. And that feeling that you get with ice skating can be replicated with a pair of inline skates. All you need is really good bearings and really nice wheels, and you should be good to go. If all you want to do is skate, there's a few options. The two major brands that I tend to recommend are the Powerslide Skates. Powerslide is a company from Germany. They've been around since I was around before. They own a few different companies. Powerslide is their free skate brand. They own USD, which is their aggressive brand. They own Undercover, which is a great wheel brand. Powerslide is a really great company, really high quality. I actually have a pair of, so these are the Powerslide Imperial skates. The Imperial skate is an interesting one. It comes in around $200, and you can get them in a configuration with either 4 wheels or 3 wheels. The 4-wheel setup is probably what you're going to want. And usually a 4-wheel setup comes with 4 by 80 millimeter wheels, maybe 84, depending on how big your foot is. That will give you a really good balance of ride height. It won't make you feel too tall, and maneuverability, because that 4 wheels will make you turn really nicely. You'll have a lot of contact on the ground, so you won't have to worry about sliding out or anything like that. And you'll be low, because 80 millimeters is a fairly low skate. You're going to feel like you're, part of the ground. You're skating. The Imperial Boot, I highly recommend it. It's got, a lacing system. It's got the 45-degree strap in the middle that cranks so that you can get it nice and solid for you. It's got the buckle up top, which, is pretty standard. It's a normal plastic buckle that just, clicks in. Super great boot. Another option is the Flying Eagle. Where is this? The Flying Eagle skate. Very similar design. This is a Flying Eagle F7. These go around $200. You shouldn't pay more than $200 for a pair of free skates. I think that at this price, these skates are good enough for most people. These both have 3 110 millimeter wheels. 110 millimeter wheels are probably new to you. You haven't had those back in the days. I know I didn't. 110 millimeters, I think, comes from the scooter world. The point is that you're going to have a really big wheel, but a short wheelbase. And they only have 3 wheels instead of 4, which means that the wheelbase from 1 to 3 is about the same as 4 by 80, 1 to 4. That means they're not going to be very long. They're going to feel like normal skates. And you're not going to clip your wheels. It's not going to feel like you're on speed skates with these long frames with wheels sticking out the front and the back. These are just normal skates. The only catch is that they're a little tall. I don't usually recommend 110 mil wheels for people just getting back into it. I try to have people stick around 80 or 84. You can get these with an 80 configuration. Another good brand, obviously, Rollerblade is a good brand to get. The Rollerblade Twister is a great skate. I don't know what their medium skate is. I think the Metro Blade. I don't really know the Rollerblade free skate brands. But if you stick with Flying Eagle, Powerslide, or Rollerblade, you're probably going to find a really good skate for around $200. Most important thing is just finding one that looks good to you. They're probably all going to be about the same in quality. Skates are pretty good right now, so I don't think you're going to have anything to worry about with shells or boots or anything. As far as finding the right size, it's going to be hard to find a good skate shop near you that's going to have all of these skates in stock. You're going to have to do a lot of ordering online. Inline Warehouse is great for free skate stuff. I like Roller Warehouse. I like Oak City. If you're over in Europe, you can go to Hedon Skate or Skate Solution or Loco. There's a few great shops out there. This is Seoul that you probably know if you know about them. Really easy to find a really good skate shop online. Not so easy to find a skate shop locally in your neighborhood. Why that's important is because skate fit is important to you for having good comfort when you're skating. And it's really hard to try on skates if you don't have a skate shop nearby, right? So if you don't have a skate shop, best thing to do, first of all, is measure your foot in centimeters. You want to make sure that your foot, both feet, you measure both feet, and you find the longest foot. So, for example, my longest foot is my left foot. It's 28.5 centimeters. I found that by just stepping on a ruler. It's not crazy. But you just step on a ruler and see approximately how big you are. You want to go a little bigger than what you are. But 28.5 is where I'm at. You can go online and you can find sizing charts. And they'll list these skates with the sizing chart with centimeters. So this is let me do this one. This is a Imperial. It actually has a Rollerblade insole. And this is a 28.5 centimeter liner, which is perfect for me. This is exactly what I need. Some skates are a little more narrow than others. That's something that you're going to have to find out by actually ordering the skates and trying them on. But so long as you get that length right, make sure that you order a skate that's about true to size. If it's measured in centimeters and if you know your foot in centimeters, you shouldn't have any problem finding the right skate for you. Now, aggressive. So aggressive is the one where there's a lot of wiggle room. And this is where when I'm answering questions from people, I usually take a little bit more time and get more of their backstory. Aggressive kind of spans multiple generations. And it depends on when you started skating aggressive for what sort of skates you would like. And I usually ask people what skates you had in the past. And typically they fall under maybe 3 buckets. So the first and probably most popular skate is the K2 Fatty. So these are a newer version of the K2 Fatty. These are the Fatty Pro UFS. So UFS is a frame mounting standard, came out in 2001. It allows you to swap out frames so you can replace the frame. If you find a boot that you like, you can get a frame and you can customize it. UFS is really great for being able to customize your experience. This is a Fatty that was designed to accommodate UFS. They don't make this anymore. This is actually a really nice skate, and I think if they made it again, it would be really popular right now. But they don't. Instead, K2 makes this skate, which is the K2 Front Street. Oh, don't follow me. There we go. This is the K2 Front Street. And it kind of looks like the K2 Fatty, but it's different. The biggest problem with this Front Street is that it's super stiff. This whole upper area is leather, and it's not going to flex as much. When you're doing tricks, when you're doing jumps and stuff, you want to be able to bend down. You want to get on your toes when you're jumping. This skate is really difficult to do that. It will break in. So if you're set on riding K2s, more power to you. But you're going to have to devote some time to breaking this skate in. I know people who have taken the frames off and put the boots on and just walked around their house on their carpet and just spent the day just walking around so that they could break that skate in. It's kind of like a baseball glove in that respect, where you've just got to work it in. You need to start developing this little crease. And if this crease is here, then the cuff will move forward, but I can't even, holding it now, I can't even move it forward. This compared to the Fatty Pro, where I can't move it forward that much, but I have a little bit more wiggle, at least a little bit of wiggle. These are brand new, they've never been skated. So, if you are a K2 skater, what would I recommend? Typically, that's the hardest question, so I'm starting with the hardest one first. If you were a K2 Fatty skater, there's a few options. You got to ask yourself what you liked about the Fatties. If you liked that they were super flexible, and that if you were doing royales and topside tricks, you could get down low and you could bend down and do topsides without having to get down super low. there's a few options there. The first one that I recommend is the USD Carbon Free. The Carbon Free is the successor to the USD Deshi skate. I guess it isn't a USD skate, is it? No, Deshi was its own company. So Deshi was a boot company that came out probably 2002, 2003. It is a single piece boot, and it is very similar to the Fatty. It's kind of like what the Fatty would have been if K2 kept progressing the Fatty. They did, but they kind of went in a different direction. I think that the spirit of the original Fatty is probably kept on with the Carbon. It's also kept on with the Adapt, but Adapts are probably a little expensive. They're like $600 boot only or so. So probably don't want to do that. But the USD Carbons, they're going to be a little expensive. You can probably get a used pair. You can probably get a closeout pair. Those are probably what I would recommend if you were a Fatty skater and you were trying to get into it. But bar none, if you wanted to get back into it and just start skating, the most important skate for me is the USD Aeon. Where's my Aeons? Here they are. So this is the 60 millimeter USD Aeon. And I love these skates. I think these skates are probably, like, if you were skating Fatties back in the day and you skated flat with the K2 Fatty and you didn't have a replaceable frame and you didn't have to worry about anything, you had this little 45-degree strap and you had a really nice low ride and you felt like you were, you know, leaning back a little bit, these are the skates for you. No question about it. The USD Aeon is a single piece design. This whole bottom boot, just like the Fatty, is one piece. So the frame is part of the sole plate, is part of the boot. The cuff is different. The cuff is fairly squishy. You're going to be able to do your top sides just like you did on your Fatties. The liner is great. It is a removable liner, so you can change it if you wanted. The Aeons actually size a little big. So if you got a size 8 Aeon, you could probably fit a size 9 liner in it, and you'd have a slightly more responsive skate. This is what I recommend. The USD Aeons were $250, $300. They just released a new USD Aeon Basic 60, I think it's called, which is a USD Aeon, comes with 61 millimeter wheels. It is all black, so there's no question that you're gonna like it. The liner isn't as good as the one that comes in the normal Aeons, but it is $200. So I highly recommend that skate. I think that is the skate to get. I think the USD Aeon is probably the skate for most people, the skate that I recommend for most people, especially if you're coming from an old Fatty and you don't want to spend a ton of money. If you don't mind, if you want to get a pair of skates that are really good and comparative to the old Fatties, I would get myself some USD Carbons. I think those are probably the best comparison. They're a soft boot. They're going to be squishy. They're going to let you do your top sides. But if you don't want to spend, I don't know how much they are boot only, $300 or so, maybe $350. If you don't want to spend that much, get yourself some USD Aeons, $200 complete. That's a really hard deal to beat. Yeah, I think they're super great. I just realized that there's a typo on the cuff that says Skinny Boy. There's only one N, S-K-I-N-Y. I wonder if that's USD. I don't know where it says it. Maybe that's their name, Skinny Boy with only one N. Skinny usually has two N's though. Anyway, so USD Aeon, if you're coming from K2s, that's what I would get. If you're coming from other skates, a lot of people out there used to skate the Rollerblade TRS. Do I have a pair of those? I do, kinda. So these are the old Rollerblade Downtowns. This is very similar to the old Rollerblade UFS, Rollerblade TRS that you used to have. There's some changes, of course, but you'll look at it and you'll say, oh yeah, that's my skate, but a little different. The nice thing about the Rollerblade TRS is that it is a soft boot up top. There is a plastic shell on the inside. The sole plates are fine. They'll let you do your sole tricks. The grooves are fine. They'll let you do your groove tricks. If you were used to doing the riding the Rollerblade TRS, this is a pretty good skate for you to get. The current version is called the New Jack. The Rollerblade, there it is. Rollerblade New Jack. Here it is. So this is what the current version looks like. This is the New Jack Team. This again costs $200, and I actually really like these skates. I thought they were really good. They fit really good. They gave me a lot of support. They're a little heavy. You know, whenever you've got all this this material, leather and stuff like that, you're going to get a little heavier skate. But I was able to do almost all of my tricks with this. The problem that I had was I didn't like this Royale groove, and I didn't really like this frame. I felt like the groove of the frame was a little too wide, and it needed a little bit more breaking in for me to really enjoy it. The groove was very deep for the Royale groove, and I had to get really low, like boot down low, in order to balance it out. That wasn't as easy for me, and I've been skating for, you know, a couple years, and I'm fairly good with Royale. So for me, this wasn't a great boot for Royales, but for soul tricks, for anything else, this was a really great boot, and for $200, you really can't go wrong. There is a New Jack Pro. The Pro is $230, I think. It comes in a different colorway. It comes with better wheels. It comes with a better liner. But to be honest, I prefer this black and white one. I think it looks great. It is, you know, $200, so you really can't go wrong. This is a great entry-level skate if you've got the means. Yeah, I recommend this skate if you were coming from an old TRS. I think that it's a really great skate to go with. You really, you know, this is going to be a good comparison if you were used to your old TRS. This is going to be a good skate for you. Lastly, there are a lot of people out there who skated USC Thrones, or maybe they skated like some Rems or some Razrs or something like that. All of those companies are still around. So you can find a skate from any one of the companies that's going to be exactly what you wanted. If you skated Razr's Colts back in the days, if you skated Razr's Shimas back in the days, or Elliott's or something like that, they make the Razr's Colt. The Colt is a great skate. It's like $150. I don't have a pair. I've never skated them. They're just exactly what you remember. It's a skate with a sole plate and a frame. Nothing special. If you want to save some money and if you love Razr skates, it's a great way to get in. Razr's also has the SL. I don't have a pair here, but the SL is kind of like the successor of the Colt. The SL is really great because it's got flat sole, so that you don't have this forward lean feeling, and you got this squishy shock absorber in the back. So when you're skating, you've got some suspension in the back, so when you do gaps, it feels really good. It's a great skate, and it's only $150. Oh, I'm sorry, those are only $220, so you can't really go wrong, right? If you wanted to spend a little bit more, the new Pro from Razr's is the Razr Shift. I actually don't have a pair here on the wall, do I? I thought I did. You know what? They have my ice skates on them. Unless I'm missing them. Oh, here they are. They're behind me. So these are the Razr Shift. And this is a horrible, horrible example of them. The Razr Shift are really cool. I think that the concept is good. So the Razr Shift, again, is a flat sole boot. It's got a suspension so that when you do gaps, it feels like you're, you know, landing on some squishy material without you feeling like you're leaning forward. It is UFS, so you can put on whatever frames you want. They actually make ice skating blades now, so I've got ice blades on here. I haven't skated them yet. This is a really bad example, but the Shift is a really great skate. I skated them. I liked them a lot. I think Razr's is fine. You can find whatever you want in Razr's. If you were a Razr skater back then, you're probably still a Razr skaters. Be confident that you're going to be able to find a skate that fits you. However, if you were a Throne skater, if you were a Rems skater, Rems is still around. You can get yourself some Rems. I don't think they've changed very much. If you were a Throne skater, if you were something else, and you wanted UFS, you want to be able to customize your skates. Now that's a really interesting space to be in. There are two skates that I recommend if you want to get back into it for customizing, for UFS, for sole plates, for things like that. The first one is the Them 908. The 908 is a skate that John Julio actually released. So John Julio, the old pro from back in the days, still skating, still at it, amazing guy. You know, he's still skating at a high level. He came out with a skate called the Them, T-H-E-M, and the model is the 908. Let me get it. Ugh. So this is the Them 908. These run you about $200 boot only. You can get them a little cheaper, I bet. These are... What do I say about the Them skates? These are like the most core skate, I guess. Shout out Joey. These are great for showing that you know the industry. You'll see people who know what they're talking about skating Thems. To be honest, they're just great skates. You know, they will fit really well. The plastic is really solid. The sole plate has this little notch instead of a deep sole, which means that when you're doing royale tricks, you don't have to get super low to get boot down, which I really liked. The sole isn't the widest sole. It's not super thin, but it's probably one of the most thin on the market. You can still do your sole tricks, though, just fine. It's got this lacing system in the front, like little fingers that grip on top of the liner, which is really cool. And it lets you get a really nice fit. The coolest thing about it, you know, it's UFS. You can replace the sole plates. It's really customizable. They have different cuffs. They have different sole plates you can get, different colors, things like that. It is UFS, so any skate on the market, any UFS frame on the market will fit this skate. And that's super cool. I think, you know, if you wanted to support the industry, this is probably the best skate to get. This is a skater-owned, skater-run company. If that sort of thing is interesting to you and if you want to support that, definitely take a look at themgoods.com. That's a great place to find them. Again, $200, boot only. Get yourself a set of frames and wheels. You'll be at like $250, maybe $300 by the end of the day. It's not the cheapest skate, but you know that your money is going to some place that's going to support skating. And that's important to me. If it's important to you, definitely take a look. Probably my highest recommended skate and the one that I actually prefer skating is the USD 7. There they are. So this is the USD 7. If you were skating back in the days, these were the USD Grycons back then. It is probably the best aggressive skate I've found for the price. Now I haven't skated the USD Carbons. I haven't skated the Adapts. I haven't skated a lot of skates. I haven't skated the Rems. But for $200, this is a pretty incredible deal. It's UFS, so you're able to skate whatever frames you want. It comes with UFS frames, and the Kaiser Fluid frames that it comes with are pretty good. You know, I was able to do all of the tricks that I'm able to do on those frames. They had a kind of a weird sound to me, kind of like a crunchy sound. A lot of people like that. I wasn't a huge fan. But you can skate those just fine. They're going to be just fine. I would upgrade the stock wheels. I would get some Dead or some Conjure brand or some Securithane or Fitty Fitty or anything. But you want to upgrade those wheels. The wheels that came on the skates weren't great. But everything else, absolutely fine out of the box. You don't have to worry about anything. Swap out the wheels. Even the bearings are fine. Swap out the wheels. Those are great skates. So what makes them great? So first of all, it comes with a MyFit liner. This is a MyFit heat moldable liner. Liners are heat moldable now. So you could put this liner in the oven at 200 degrees for like 15 minutes. Take it out, put it on your foot, put it in your skate, tie it up, and it will suck in so that it fits your foot perfectly. It's great. And it's super comfortable. I love this liner. It fits, really nice. It's great for my foot. It fits like a glove. The boot is, no frills. It's a plastic boot. The only issue that I have with it is that the cuff is a little stiffer than I'm used to, so it was harder for me to do topside tricks. But everything else felt great. It felt super responsive. Feels like when I'm skating, when I'm pushing off, I'm getting that power back so I can skate fast, I can skate consistent. The sole plate is incredible. So this sole plate is by far the best sole plate that I've skated. The groove is really great. It is a really nice angled groove so that when you do royale tricks, you can just be straight on the groove, perpendicular to the ledge or the rail. The sole itself is huge. It's like up to my knuckle here, which is just ridiculous. I feel like I don't miss sole tricks with these skates. It slides really well. The reason why it slides really well is because this sole plate doesn't really do much. The sole plate mounts to the bottom of the boot, and then the frame mounts all the way through to the boot. So the sole plate is just this really fast material. It doesn't have any hold on the frame. It doesn't have any structural anything. It's just there. But it's also screwed in 4 different spots, so it's really solid onto this boot. And finally, this skate has an internal shock absorber. So take out the liner, and I can bring out the shock absorber. You can see on the inside, you can see the frame bolt. This is where the UFS bolt goes. And here's that shock absorber I was talking about. Instead of having plastic so that it feels like you're leaning a little bit forward, which is a good thing, you want to be able to lean a little bit forward when you're skating, they have a shock absorber. And this shock absorber is a little too shocky for me. It's a little hard. I don't know that it needs to be that hard, but it is great. It makes me feel like when I'm skating and I land, I don't have any pain. It feels like I'm just landing a gap nice and solid. It reduces the shock. It does what it's supposed to do. So I really like that. Again, you can get these for like $200. Supplies are pretty limited right now. I don't know why. I don't know if they're coming out with a new version of the 7, but they haven't made a new one for 2019 yet. I haven't seen any new ones. I really hope they do. I think that the USD 7 is the most underrated skate that you're going to find. If you can't find them, there's a pro model, the Roman Abrate skate. He is an incredible skater, and he has a USD 7 that has a skin around it, so it has like a nice little custom feel to him. It's a little heavier, it's a little more expensive, but it's the same skate. You could always take off the skin if you wanted to, I bet. But it's the same skate, it's going to feel great, and again, it's, you know, for my money, probably the best skate that you can get. All right, so we've talked a little bit about skates. We've talked a little bit about padding. Now, what do you do when you actually get back out there? That's a good question. So first of all, the most important thing, you know, if you were a great skater in the past, realize that it's going to take a while for you to get back up to where you were. The first time that I went out skating, it was a bloodbath. You know, I felt so sore. I was sweating like crazy. I was not flexible. You know, you take for granted that you can, you know, flex, you can squat down, you can do your tricks. Like, you know, try doing a unity if you haven't, you know, squatted down and sat, you know, crisscross applesauce in a long time. It's a hard trick. So definitely stretch. You know, before you go skating, make sure that you go out there, do yourself some jumping jacks. You know, I do 20 jumping jacks, and I run in place for like 20 seconds. Get your heart rate up, get your blood pumping, get your muscles loose, and then start doing stretching. And I do stretches for maybe 5 minutes or so before I skate. Every single time I skate. I didn't do that for many years. And I pulled a muscle in my back, and it friggin' hurt. And I was out all weekend, and my wife was like, dude, you gotta get off the couch. I'm like, I can't. My back hurts. And she's like, well, then you need to stop skating if your back's gonna keep hurting. I said, okay, I'll start stretching. So I stretch before every session now. It's great. After a session, I also stretch. And when I get home, I use a foam roller. Foam roller, if you haven't seen one, is just like this big cylinder, usually padded, usually has some ridges on it. Basically what you do is you put it on the ground and you roll over it, and it hurts. It stretches the microfascia of your muscles and keeps you from getting sore. It helps your muscles grow. There's a lot of things that it does. I'm not a doctor, so don't listen to me, but a foam roller is really great. You should probably Google foam roller exercises and see if there's anything good out there. I use it on my legs, especially my quads. I use it on my back. I use it on my upper back. I use it just all over the place. Whatever's hurting, I usually just use the foam roller and roll on it for a little bit. It loosens things up. And there's nothing worse than waking up the next morning and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have skated. I'm going to take it easy. And then you forget how much fun it is, and you only remember how sore you are. So definitely stretch. Definitely when you go out there, bring yourself some water. I forgot to bring water for the longest time, and you definitely need water when you're skating. A lot of skate parks have drinking fountains. That's great. Bring yourself a water bottle. It's easier. You know, don't buy plastic bottles. Just get yourself a reusable water bottle. Fill it up before every session. Fill it up when you're at the park. Drink, drink, drink. The more skating you're going to do, the more you're going to sweat. That's a good thing. That means you're getting in shape. That means you're working your muscles. But it also means that you're going to dehydrate yourself. Drink lots of water. It's super important. As for skating, take it slow. Can't say it enough. Do what your safety trick was back in the day. And do that 100 times. On every obstacle that you can find. And I'm not talking about rails. I'm not talking about, drop gaps or drop ledges or anything like that. If you used to own a soul grind, do soul grinds on everything you can find. And do that 100 times. You got to get yourself back into that feeling of landing soul, coming off fakie, coming off rewind, up, half cab or whatever. Do your safety tricks over and over again so that you get the feeling of skating again. And then go to the next trick. And then go to the next trick. And then maybe up the skill level of what obstacle you're on, but with your safety tricks. This is a marathon. You're not going to get sponsored. You're not going to get out there and wow anybody. Nobody cares anymore. Everybody's on their scooter or their skateboard. They don't care about you. You're the freak that's out there rollerblading on the skate park. Just go out and have fun with it. If you want to do, royales all day, who's going to tell you not to? Go out and have fun. Do your royales. I do royales all the time. It's my favorite trick. I love the feeling of a royale. Royale one way, back royale the other way, royale the other way, back royale the other way. It's just so much fun to just get out there and grind. And the more that I do it, the more confident I am, the more I work my muscles, the stronger my legs get, and the more that I can push myself and learn new tricks. The muscles you use when you're skating and doing grinds, you haven't used in the last 10, 15 years. They're weird muscles. Doing a topside trick is not going to use any muscles that you've ever used before. I played ice hockey consistently for the last 20 years, and when I went out there and skated transition, my legs were burning because I was dropping in and doing airs over a quarter pipe. That is a weird muscle. You're going to use those muscles so hard in the first couple sessions, you're going to be so sore, and it is an incredibly satisfying feeling. Getting out of the skate park, drenched in sweat, knowing that you landed a few tricks. Doesn't matter how good they were. You landed your tricks, and the next day you're sore. And you're like, you know what? The next time I go skating, I won't be as sore as I am today. And then the next time, I won't be as sore as I am that time. It is a slow progression to get back to where you were. But I guarantee it, I'm skating better now than I've ever skated. And it only took me about a year to get to this shape. Now, granted, I skate every week. And I video myself so that I can see what I'm doing wrong. And I'm extremely motivated to video myself because now I have an audience of people looking at me skate. So I want to skate hard and I want to make sure that I'm consistent and I put out a video every week. So I have a really good motivation there. But that's to say that you can do it. If you're motivated enough, if you take the time, if you don't push yourself too fast, you're going to have a great time skating. Of course, if you have any questions after this, I'm always available to help. Find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, find me on the YouTube. Send me a comment. If I can't answer it, I will find the answer for it. I am devoted to skating. I want to make sure that people get back skating and have a really good experience. The more that I can do to help promote skating, the better. And if that means talking with you and getting you back on your wheels, I'm more than happy to do it. All right. Jesus, that was 50 minutes of talking. Oh my God. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I haven't even, oh my God, that was a long session. Great. Hey everyone. Thanks for tuning into the live stream. I'm going to drink some water. Talking for 50 minutes without taking a break. So I hope that helped everybody that was watching or has listened now. I'm going to cut that up and I'm going to put it on the YouTube channel so that I can point it to people. It is long. I think I'll just leave it as a long segment. You know, if you want to jump around, you can. But most important, I just want to make sure that people have resources out there. I never did when I got back into it. I had, was very lucky. If you don't have a support group to get you back into blading, you could be the only skater out there, and that's no fun. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to buy things you don't need to buy, and that's not a good way to be. So if there's any comments, or if anybody watching this or listening to this has any feedback on what I said, please let me know. Again, I am trying to be the voice of people who want to help people get back into it. I am not the only voice, and I want to make sure that everybody has an opinion and everybody can get their word out. I love linking to new channels. If you have a YouTube channel or an Instagram and you're getting back into it, please let me know. I will definitely link out to you. Anything that can motivate people to get back into this, I think is a good thing. I'm going to read through some of the comments. If you have questions, please let me know. I will stick around a little bit tonight because I talk so long, and I'd love to talk a little bit longer. So please let me know if you have questions in the comments. All right. Oh, hey, what is this? A super chat supported tweet? Thank you so much, Rolled Daily. I haven't got one of those before, so thank you. It's really awesome to see. Question: what have you learned from releasing wheels? Whew. That's a long answer. Any insights into urethanes? Really good question. So, backstory. I released Compass. Compass is this. So these are Compass wheels. These are the 100 millimeter Chapel Hill wheels. These are really great. I skated them this weekend. I really loved them. I love 100. 100 millimeter for me is the perfect wheel size for skating around without doing a lot of errors. If I'm doing gaps, if I'm doing stair rides or anything like that, wall rides, any jumps, I usually like to stick with 80s. I feel like 80s has that lower center of gravity that I like. But if I want to travel some distance, if I want to skate fast, if I want to skate effortless and distance, I like to get the 100s. I don't really like 110s for that sort of thing. 110s for me is only distance. This is for like slides and doing little transition-y things and just skating fast and jumping over little things but not big things. These are the Compass wheels. I got into making wheels because I wanted to learn about making wheels, and I didn't know anything about it. I've made frames for many years. I've skated a lot of different wheels out there, and I know what a good wheel feels like, but I don't know how to make one. So I spent a lot of time researching and finding a company that could make the wheels that I wanted. And I tested probably a dozen different wheels, mostly aggressive wheels. My background is in aggressive skating. I was looking for making wheels for the 50/50 frame. There weren't a lot of them out on the market that could accommodate a 58 mil wheel flat. The frames max out at 58 mil, and that's a great size if you're just doing grinder blading, but I wanted to be able to provide a flat option. Back in the days, we used to skate 55, 56 mil, and when I started looking into wheels, they didn't have very many 55, 56s. They really don't have a lot of 55, 56s now. So I was really interested in getting some wheels made, and I tested a bunch, and I found a lot of really bad wheels out there. But I found some good ones, and I started testing urethane compounds. I started testing different sizes, different profiles, and I found the ones that I liked. I started with the big wheels, and then I'm now starting the 50/50 wheels, which should be in stock next week. What did I learn about urethanes? What did I learn about releasing wheels? Most important thing for me is find a good vendor that's going to be responsive. I don't know how many wheel companies out there I've tried to speak to that just never returned my calls. Or they did months after, I reached out to them. Remember, you're getting into a business deal with these guys. If you want to make your own wheels, this is a business deal. Like if you were going down to Home Depot and you were building houses and you wanted to walk in and you wanted to buy some 2x4s or something, You don't want to have to look for the salesperson and ask for getting 2x4s and have them order 2x4s and know it's going to take a month and give them money and then wait and then not get good communication. Like, it's super important that when you go in as a customer, the company that wants to sell you the products is attentive, is knowledgeable, and responds to you within a timely manner. And I don't know how many wheel companies don't do that. And it's crazy to me. There were a few that were really great, but there were a few that were just like, come on, guys. Like, I want to skate your wheels. I want to sell your wheels. I want to give you thousands of dollars. Respond to me. So that's the most important thing. I had some mixed experiences. I found a company that was amazing, that was easy to work with, that did a great job with communication and had a killer product, super quick turnaround. They're great. So I'm super happy with the vendor that I'm using. I think it's important for you to find the vendor for you. It's pretty easy. Just do a Google search for urethane wheel manufacturer and you'll be able to find a bunch of different companies out there. Just start reaching out to them and see if they can have samples sent, or if they have a product catalog, or if they they want to make wheels for you. So reach out and see if they've got anything for you, any information. And if they get back to you and if you get a good experience, pursue them and see what they can do for you. As far as the wheel urethane goes, it was really difficult. Most of these companies have a fairly tested urethane. They know what they make. I mean, they make wheels. So if the wheel is good for most of their line, odds are that it's going to be good for you. You can take that factory urethane and you'll probably be really successful. These are the factory urethane. There's nothing special about them. They are the 95A version of the factory urethane, which might be a little special, I don't know. But 95A, I think, is a really great hardness for big wheels, for urban skating. It's a lot of cushion, it's a lot of grip. That's what I want when I'm doing skating, and I can slide just fine, so I don't have any issues with that. Every urethane durometer, every hardness is going to be a little different formula. You're going to have to test them. That's the best way to do it. Say that you want to make a wheel that's 85A. You want to make a wheel that's 90A. Get some samples. You'll have to pay for the samples probably. I had to. Get yourself some samples, or ask if there are any wheels on the market that you can test, that you can buy, that you can test to see what the sample's like, what the quality's like. If you find a wheel that you like, see the formula, skate them. Skate them up and down the street, skate them in weird places, skate them on wood transitions, skate them in cement. See what they feel like for all purposes. And if you find a good factory, you can respond to them with feedback, and they can give you different formulas to tweak that, to make them a little better for grip, a little better for long lasting, a little better for cushion, stuff like that. Again, it depends on the company. First couple of orders, you probably won't have a lot of leverage there to ask them to tweak their formulas. But you can say, hey, I like this formula, but this is what I want. What would you recommend? And usually they'll be able to say, oh, well, you just need a little harder. Maybe instead of 85, you go to 80. And that'll last a little longer. You'll still have a good amount of grip and a good amount of suspension, but it'll last a little longer. Or if you're slipping out, maybe they'll give you an 84 or an 82. There's a lot of options out there. Most important thing, though, with wheel production that I found, developing a really solid relationship with a factory. Being able to talk with them, being able to say, this is what I want, this is the feedback that I have, this is where I'm going to be placing my orders, giving them a forecast. And if they can get back to you, and if you feel like the relationship is good, that is the most important thing. And there are a lot of factories out there. You can find a good one that will work for you. Just make sure that you do your research before you start spending money. I hope that helped. The chat just went away. Yes. Thank you again for the super chat, or whatever it's called, Rolled Daily. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. And thanks for supporting Back to Blading. I'm looking for anything with question marks. There's a lot of comments, and I'm sure that they're mostly about the talk that I had, which is great. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them, though. Let others try your blades. That's the question. Do I let others try my skates? Maybe. Yeah, I do. I don't know. I don't normally care. Like, I feel like if you let your skates air out, if you leave them in a bag or if you leave them in the car, they're gonna stink pretty bad. I honestly don't skate as hard or as long as I used to sweat all that much. My feet definitely sweat after a session, but it's usually my shirt that sweats through or my pants that sweat through first. I don't know, maybe my skates stink and I don't really know about it. I change my skates out pretty quickly though, so I don't really have to worry about it. For me, I don't have a problem with letting people borrow my skates. I usually bring an extra pair with me in the car. It's just super important for me to spread the knowledge of skating and let everyone know that, hey, rollerblading is fun, especially if there's a skateboarder there or a scooter kid. I don't have any small skates that I bring. I should probably get myself some small shadows or something like that, some small transformers maybe, the UFC transformers. That would be pretty good. But yeah, it would be great to have just a bunch of skates that I can let people try on. I think, again, you just want to be that blade ambassador. You want to be welcoming people with open arms. I always keep catalogs in my car so that I can give them out to people so that they can get more information. I keep some Intuition skate shop catalogs. I keep some Roller Warehouse skate shop catalogs. If you have a skate shop and you're watching this and you have a catalog, send it to me. I would be more than happy to hand them out to people that I meet. I think getting catalogs and putting them in your car is super good. Call the shops that have catalogs, get a bunch of them, hand them out when you go to the skate park or whatever. Even if you skate, free skate and you're not skating aggressive or anything like that, super important that you just have something that you can hand out to somebody so that they can go home with it. I don't know how many times people have asked, where do I get skates? And I'm like, oh, here's a URL or here's a web address or whatever. That doesn't work. Give them a catalog. Super easy. If you do have skates, extra skates, bring them to the skate park. They're better than sitting on the wall. I mean, these skates, some of them are so old they'll break if you skated them. But I do keep an extra pair of skates so that I can have people test them out. Another one from World Daily. Thanks again. It's awesome of you. What kind of videos would you like to see others make? Interesting. So, I don't know if you're talking about aggressive or free skate, but I will tell you a couple of my favorite videos out there. And I think that will probably answer the question of what sort of videos I like and what videos I think should be made more. So, by far my favorite video to watch is Delfondio. Delfondio is made by, God, what are the guys' names? Two guys, I think they're in Europe. I don't really know. But it's basically like 7 or 8 skaters, amazing skaters, go to, in this case, I think they're in Barcelona? Where the heck are they? I think they're in Barcelona. And they go exploring the city. And they go to different places, they go to different spots. And it is them skating, but it's also them just having fun and being normal people. And it just shows the side of skating that I think people forget. That when you go skating, you are part of a club. You're part of a squad or whatever you want to call it. And you have that family with skating, and that is by far the biggest thing that skating does for me. Even though most of my community, my personal community that I interact with, I don't get to skate with a lot of people in person. My timing is a little difficult because I have a family and I sneak out for a few hours in the mornings, but the rest of the day I want to spend with them. But when you go out and when you're skating with your friends, when you have a beer or you just hang out at the skate park or, you're just talking skating or something like that. That's the best thing. And that vibe is what I got from Delfondio. It was really a great video to watch them just enjoy being together, being friends, skating together. It is a long series. I think there are 3 videos in that series. Formosa is the latest one. What was the first one? Del Fondio. Somebody help me in the comments. I don't remember. But there were 3 videos that they released. Definitely look for those. Super great. For recreational style, urban style skating, I don't know that there's a full-length video that I like. The urban skating kind of gets boring to me, to be honest. You can only watch somebody skate fast so long. I love watching Nick Lomax skate, mostly YouTube videos. Nick Lomax skate, Mary Munoz, that guy, Mizaki, is that his name? Craig Mizaki, I think, on Rollerblade. There's a few really great urban skaters that I love, but again, I can only take them in like 3-minute segments. I just feel like urban, and I mean, it's harder to watch. You're just watching somebody skate, and I don't know that is as gripping, as aggressive, where the scene mood changes and the tricks change every 10 seconds. So I don't really like watching urban stuff. I don't know that there is an urban video that I could recommend. For me, the YouTube channels are great. If you go to the USD channel, if you go to the Rollerblade channel, you'll find some really good examples of urban skating that I love. Highly recommend, Mary Munez and Nick Lomax. Those are probably my favorite. They're both aggressive skaters as well, but they're both amazing urban skaters. Sort of videos that I like, what I don't like is I don't like trick videos. I feel like, I like to watch people for their personalities. I love watching the mushroom blading videos, the whole series, the mushroom blading series, Zone, like all of their videos. They're just silly, and I think that we as aggressive skaters take ourselves a little too seriously sometimes, or a lot of times, and they are the complete opposite. They are just crazy. They do whatever feels right in their skating, in their personalities. I think that is really great and refreshing, and I love watching that stuff. Big Wheels 5 was great. Big Wheels 2 was great. Anything from the mushroom blading, group, I love. I love watching Leon skate, even before he had the Wizards. He just has this amazing, organic style where he's not really a aggressive skater, he's not really an urban skater, he's not really a parkour skater, he's just kind of everything. I love watching that. I love watching creativity. I love watching skating that pushes the boundaries of what I think skating is and showing me something new. I don't want to see a different grab or a different grind or something like that. I want to see somebody skating something different. I want to see somebody boosting off of a handrail and doing a hand plant 360 off of a handrail. That sort of thing is refreshing to me. But I also want to mix that in with personality. I want to see people being themselves. I want to see what makes them want to skate. It's not just skating, it's the people around them. I want to see that side of it. So if I were to make a team video, for example, for Compass or for 50/50, I would definitely want more personality than skating. And that probably won't sell super well, but for me, I want people to know who the people are. The tricks are the tricks are the tricks, and you can have great style, you could do it on a gnarly object, but ultimately you've seen people do true top horn before. That's a trick that you know how to do, or you know what it looks like. That's nothing different. I think skating super fast and doing big hammers definitely will make me stand up and in shock, what the hell was that? We don't do that very often anymore. I think a lot of the pros are older. They don't have insurance anymore. They're not getting paid a lot, so they don't have a lot of money. And if they're doing this, they're doing it as a second job, they do a normal job, 9 to 5, and then they go out and skate at night, or they skate on the weekends. So there's not a lot of huge stunts, not a lot of huge hammers anymore. There are some, but there's not a ton. For me, I just want to see personality. I want to see what it's like to be in their world. I want to see what their sessions are like. I want to see them falling and getting back up and getting through a trick, missing a trick. One of the best things that in the last few years, Lonnie Gallegos, my friend Lonnie, who is an amazing filmmaker. He's also a designer, an artist. He did the Feet series. So if you look for Feet 4, that was the most recent one. He did this series on Instagram called Feeling It Out, where it was clips that he didn't put in the final video. You know, the final video maybe had one fall and then the actual landing of the trick. This was the progress to get to the point where he was doing the one fall and the one trick. So it was setting up to the rail. It was jumping over the rail. It was jumping and putting your hand down and sliding. It was like jumping and then eating shit. Like, it was everything that led up to actually successfully completing the trick. You forget that pros fall. You know, all you see in the videos is the success, but pros fall. They have personality when they fall. They're just funny people. Some people are really funny when they fall. That's what I love to see. I love to see just people being normal. And I think that Lonnie captured it really well. I think that if we were to ever do a video, or if somebody were to do a team video, I think that emphasis on personality and what makes skating fun is the most important thing. More important than hammers, more important than crazy spots, more important than 360 cameras and drone footage. Make sure that you make it an entertaining video with entertaining personalities that people are going to want to watch over and over again. The Hoax 2, one of the classic videos of all time. It is a classic because of Arlo, because of Brian Smith, because of B. Harden, because of Michael Palak, because of, who am I missing? Oh, Brooke Howard Smith. Those 5 were the personality bus, you know? They were who brought this video along, and they had a lot of great adventures, a lot of great music, a lot of great cinematography, but really it was the personalities. I don't know how many times we quoted that video as Groms back in the day. So hope that answers your question. I would love to see more videos like that. I think that it's an amazing opportunity right now. People are hungry for good content. We get a lot of Instagram. We get a lot of quick bites. We get a lot of Facebook. We want good, 20, 30-minute videos. We don't have that very much. And the ones that do are great. I want to see more of them. I want to see more personalities. I want to see tour videos. I want to see team videos where you get to see what people's lives are like. I love that stuff. So thanks. That was a great question. And thanks again for the support. All right. I am going to take a couple more and then get out of here. It is hour and 15 minutes already. Will I be reviewing? Darren asks, will you be reviewing the new Flying Eagle aggressive skates? I hope so. They are the Enkido. I really like the Flying Eagle F7. I feel like the boot feels really good. The Enkido is a fitness skate with a sole plate so that it is UFS, and it mounts a UFS frame on the bottom. I don't know that it is an aggressive skate as much as it's a entry to aggressive for fitness skaters. I think that just like we make UFS big wheel frames for aggressive skaters, Flying Eagle makes this UFS sole plate for fitness skaters. And I think that it's a great opportunity to expand people's perspective on what skating can be. If all that you've done is skate and then jump down some stairs, why not get these and, do some front sides or do a sole grind? I don't think it's going to be the greatest aggressive skate. I don't think that I would ever recommend it for somebody, but I think that it is a really interesting skate, and I really want to give them a shot. I don't know when I'm going to be able to. I have a bunch of skates lined up, but it is on my list. Diabolus BR. For 100 millimeter wheels, Solo Fusion versus Flying Eagle versus Seba SX versus Powerslide Swell. That's good. Good question. So here's, there's a lot of skates. So Powerslide Swell. First of all, Swell. The Swell are these skates. Can I get this one down? Yes. So the Swell are these skates. These are the Powerslide Swell, but with a 125 road frame. This really doesn't count. This is more designed for trail skating. These are great. but they're definitely designed for distance. What makes this swell unique is it has the Trinity mount, and the Trinity mount is a new frame standard that Powerslide introduced that allows you to get a lower center of gravity and much more precise power transfer when you're skating. I think it's great. I haven't skated anything Trinity other than these frames and the Street. Is that what they're called? Street 125s. So I haven't skated anything other than 125s. And to be honest, this boot isn't really designed for the way that I skate. This is designed, the frame is more pronated, I guess, where it's on the inside. It's less designed for urban and the sort of skating I do. This is really designed for skating in a straight line. It is a great skate for that purpose. But I have a feeling that you're asking more about what sort of skates for all-around skating. This is very purpose-built. This swell boot, though, it's pretty nice. It's a little tight for me. I feel like the soft top isn't super great for everyone. I felt like the fit was really good. I've gotten some blisters in this skate, but again, I skate 10 plus miles with them, so I've never gotten blisters with my them 908s, but I've never skated 10 miles in them, so I don't know that it's a good comparison. But these are the swells. What other skates did you ask? The Flying Eagles. So these Flying Eagle S7s are great skates. If you're skating for big wheels, I think these are great. They are not Trinity. They are 165 mount. I don't know that it matters all that much. I think that the Trinity mount is really great. I don't know that it's super necessary. But I've never skated a 110 Trinity, and I've never skated a straight Trinity. The ones that I have with the swell, that frame is more on the inside so that I can do more underpush when I'm doing long skating. This is more of a centered line. This is probably what I need in a Trinity mount. I don't have one, but I'll probably get a pair of either the Next, or maybe I'll save up and get some of those, what are those crazy Powerslide, I can't remember what they're called. But maybe I'll save up and get some of those. It's like carbon or whatever. Anyway, they're great skates. Most important thing when you're looking at big wheels is you want to make sure that you have a 45-degree strap. Vital. If you are skating big wheels, it's going to feel like you're on high heels. And if you're on high heels, it's hard to walk straight. Take it from me, I guess. The more support that you can get around the ankle, the better. And that is, for me, why I love this skate. I love the Imperials. This 45-degree strap is really, really nice. The ratchet buckle, super good. I can get a really solid feel. I feel like this skate and the Imperials are probably the best that you can do. They're super light. They're super comfortable. And they work really good with 110s. As for the Rollerblade, where did those go? The Rollerblade Fusion, they're good. I think they're the best UFS option. I don't know that they are as good as other free skates. I think that the free skates would be better. The problem that I'm running into with this is I feel like there's a lot of flex on the boot. Like I can move the frame a little bit. Like I don't know. I just feel like maybe this isn't super designed for what I'm trying to do with it. Maybe it is. I think these are too big for this skate, though. I think that you should probably stick with an 80 millimeter wheel if you're trying to do the Fusions. The exception is the Seba SX or the CJ in carbon. That is by far the best UFS boot. I don't have them here. My friend Dylan is skating them with some Wizard frames. They are the best. They are carbon boot, one-piece boot, so the bottom is carbon. Nice and thick carbon, thicker than you would get with a USD carbon. So it doesn't just have the support, it has structural integrity. Take off the sole plate, you put the frame directly on that skate, and it is like you're on ice skates. I mean, it's like you have a riveted on skate. It is a great feeling. That's what I would recommend if you were looking for a UFS boot. It's expensive. They're like $400 boot only. So you're not going to get away on the cheap. If you're just looking for a cheap 100+ setup, I would definitely recommend the Imperials from Powerslide or the F7 from Flying Eagle. I would also say that the rollerblades are really good, but I haven't skated them. I've only heard really good things. I hope to get a pair of the rollerblade. What are they called? What are they called? I forgot. I can't even remember. But those rollerblade, the ones that look like the Pokemon, the Porygon Pokemon. I can't remember. I hope to get a pair of those to test, but I don't have a pair yet. But I've heard really good things. Dave Wynn asks, what is your time ratio between skate park, aggressive, and urban trail skating? You know what? Not as good as I'd like it to be. I probably do 3-to-1 aggressive over urban. I want to start skating urban more. I really love skating urban. I love doing slides. I love just skating. You know, it's like after skating aggressive for so many years, it is an amazing feeling. But I don't skate fast enough. You know, I usually skate fast up to a ledge and then grind and then jump off. Or I'll skate up to a gap or a transition or whatever and jump. And that's fun, but I want to just have this prolonged coast. I want to have this feeling where I'm just charging. And you can only really get that in a big environment like a parking lot or, you know, a downtown plaza or something like that. It's really hard to get that in a skate park unless you, you know, live in a big skate park like, I don't know, like the one in Colorado or whatever, where they have a lot of room. I just don't get to top speed very much at skate parks. My favorite skate park, the one in Durham, is very compact. You know, there's a lot of things to grind, but it's really like a school. You just drop in and you hit, and you drop in and you hit, and you skate up here and you hit. There's no like coast or anything. There are a few that I could probably get to top speed, but then they're so busy I don't want to run into anybody. I love the feeling of skating. And skating with big wheels is fun. And being able to explore a city is a lot of fun. I don't do it often enough. So I'm pledging this year, you know, I tried to do it when my daughter was in gymnastics. I pledged that this year I'm going to try to balance it out 1-to-1 and do just as much aggressive as I do urban. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do it. I need to get back on the trail. It's been a long time since I've skated that trail. The weather is finally okay. It's not super cold. It's not wet. So I'm going to try to do it this weekend, maybe Saturday morning. But I don't know. My goal is 1-to-1. All right. Miles asks, did you test the new 50/50 wheels in an all wooden skate park? I have a big issue with slipping out. Not sure if dust is the issue or wheels. Good question. I have skated in a wood skate park. I have not skated in an all wood skate park. So I don't know. It was an outdoor wood park. So I don't know that the dust would be a problem there. I have skated the Compass 72s with wish frames at the all wood skate park in Wake Forest that I go to. And 7285, it's the same compound. Pro tip, it's the same compound that we've been testing with the Compass wheels. It's the same compound that you're going to get with the 58s. So it's a really great compound. It's nice and grippy. It should work really well for you. I don't know, though, as far as skating in an all-wood skate park. If you're slipping out, I don't know how hard your wheels are. You shouldn't slip out. I mean, maybe if you have like a 92 or a 95 wheel, you're probably going to slip out. Anything lower than a 90, though, I think you should be fine. Personally, I try to stick around 88. I don't want to go any higher than an 88 for an aggressive wheel. I think that 88 is the right hardness for most people. I think 85, you know, it's a niche sort of thing. After skating it, I don't want to skate anything else. The cushion that I get when I'm skating an 85, especially a 58-85, is really nice. It feels good. You're gripping, you're skating. It feels great when you're landing gaps. It feels like suspension a little bit. But I get that it's not for everyone. I think that either an 85 or an 88 is probably where you want to be. I have tested them in wooden skate parks. I would probably check your wheels and make sure that they're soft enough for a wooden skate park. You definitely want a nice softer wheel, and you want a nice profile. You know, if you have a more squared wheel, it's not going to be as good as a rounded profile wheel. I don't know of any really bad square wheels, but you know what I'm talking about. Like if you had a flat, like the old Contra flats, if you had a flat bottom wheel, I had a lot of problems with the Contra flats in this wooden skate park because there's just no surface area. You know, if you have a rounded bottom, you're gonna have a lot more urethane touching the ramp when you're going up. It's gonna feel much better. It's gonna grip a lot more. You're gonna have a lot more surface area when you're trying to walk up that ramp. Where am I? Yes, Shop Task. Sorry, Dave, I forgot. Shop Task videos are great, and Shop Task the shop is great if you're in Canada. Highly recommended. Leon and the gang do a great job. It's great. Sean is an incredible skater. If you were looking for urban, I don't know if Sean would be somebody that I'd recommend as like a long video. Sean does some silly stuff, but he's really good for like follow cam. I think because he has a really good cameraman, so he makes Sean look really good. Sean is really good, but he has really good angles. He was really good wide angles and everything. Like the two of them together are what make those Shop Task videos great. I think they're definitely worth watching. And yeah, Fancy Feet obviously drew Fancy Feet. Right, I think I'll take one more and then I'm going to get out of here. Next skates. Anton. If I want next, what size should I take? I don't know. I heard that the next size a little tight. I think it would be smart, obviously I always start with measure your foot in centimeters. Centimeters is the standard. So if you can find a ruler that has centimeters, step on it with no shoes on and see where your toe is. Doesn't matter what size your shoe is, figure out how big your toe is with the thinnest socks that you have. And then give yourself like 0.5 millimeters, 0.5 centimeters more than that. That's probably the size of skate that you want. Excuse me. After you find that size of skate, you're going to have to try them on. And I've heard that the Next can size a little small. I don't have a pair of Next. I've never skated Next. I've never tried on a pair of Next. But I hear that they size a little small. I don't know if that's the shell or if it's the liner that comes with it. I would do a little research on the Next and see what they're sizing like. You can usually go to, I think Inline Warehouse usually has a sizing chart and they'll say that they size small or size big. I think that would probably be where I would go if you were in the States to find your Next. They usually have them all in stock and they have really good return policies. I think you buy a t-shirt and you can return them for as long as you want until you get your right size. But yeah, measure your foot in centimeters. Go with that. Maybe upsize by 5 mil just to be safe. But yeah, I think the Next are an interesting skate. I want to get a pair of those as well. A lot of urban skates that I want. I have my aggressive wall, but I don't have a lot of urban. So I want to get a lot of free skate urban skates. And Next are definitely on my list. All right, everyone. I am going to call it. It's been an hour and a half of amazing chatting. Thank you all so much for being in the live stream and leaving your great comments and questions. I do this for you. I do this because I know that people love to talk skating, and they probably don't have a lot of people in their area that talk skating. I don't. So instead of not talking skating, I try to talk skating on the YouTube. And, I love being able to talk with other people. Again, I do this every other Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and hit the little ding-dong bell, the bell, and you'll get a push notification whenever I go live. It's every other Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. It is a great place for people to just chat. I see a lot of questions being answered in the chat from other people chatting. So I absolutely love that. You guys are amazing. Thank you all for the support. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.